and welcome back to Inside the Storm. This is your podcast for everything Newport Storm FC. I'm joined today by Serge. Serge, first of all, how are you?
Good. How have you been?
Fantastic. I mean, let's just jump straight into it. You don't really need that many introductions because everyone, I feel like, knows who you are now. But let's, for someone who hasn't maybe been to the games or hasn't, been under a rock and hasn't heard about the seniors, give us a little introduction.
Well, about Newport Seniors, it's a new project. Let's say that we started pretty late because Newport put in the application to be part of the State League 5 this season, and they've been accepted. Let's say, if not wrong, around December, January, something like that. And then I got in touch with the president of the club, and we had a nice chat, and they told me about the project of Newport and what they see for the future of the club and what their ambition is, and I just loved it. Just fell in love, let's say, with the first. Fell in love with the project straight away, and embraced it straight away.
And I mean, four games, 4 wins, right?
Four games for wins. Well, pretty expert of these leagues, and I was pretty much. Let's say that we've built the team that's supposed to be good enough to get promotion. So obviously you have to win games, and you have to prove it on the pitch. Well, on paper, everyone can win games. It's what you bring on the Saturdays that makes a difference.
On the game day, yeah. I mean, I guess before we jump into the games, let's talk a little. You've been around the leagues forever, but how did you get into football coaching? How did you end up being such a successful coach? Kind of speak to us about your journey and getting here.
Well, it's a long journey, even if I look pretty young, but I'm nearly 50 years old. I'll be 49 this year, and I used to play in Italy. I was born in Australia, and I left Australia when I was 11 years old. Since 1987, I lived in Italy. There where I played football and played in the D series with Monterotondo. There was I think it's still playing in the D series, to be honest. And after that, I got injured when I was about 17, 18 years old, and not being able to play anymore, especially for the Italian football. An injury that was pretty significant. You won't play anymore. So you just have to hang your boots. But I've always been involved in the game. When I got my C license when I was 18, 19 years old, and I started to coach local teams in Italy. Until 2008, when I moved in Australia again with the family, and I joined Hoppers Crossing. I played there, and then after I went to Altona North for one season, and then I made my own club at Truganina, the Truganina Hornets.
Wow!
And stayed there till 2018. Then I moved on, giving new life to the club, because you can't always be bond to the founder of the club. So I moved on. I went to Balmoral. I had 4 beautiful seasons with that club, and we were got great relations with them. Then after 4 years, I went to Faulkner. I coached at Faulkner. I coached at Heidelberg Eagles, and last season finished in an honourable position, fifth on the ladder, I think. And then I moved here to Newport. So I've been around for a while since.
I mean, Italy, wow.
Fair
enough.
Been around.
All right. So obviously, what everyone wants to hear about. What is it like coaching that senior team? Do you feel the pressure of being the first head coach of a senior team at the club? What's that? Kind of take us inside what that's like.
No, well, look, pressure is part of the job. At the end of the day, when you coach a senior squad, your ambitions and your duties are to get the best out of it. You have to try to win games. There's no going around it. Obviously, there's things that you have to work around. The selection of players and what sort of targeting you have, and from there you program the season. Obviously, there's pressure. Well, look, there is. Well, I'm really not worried about the pressure, to be honest. The reason why I'm here is because I want the club to get promoted. Pressure just gives me more, let's say, more strength, to be honest. I like that pressure.
Yeah, finishing third, there's pressure, and then there's your expectation to win, which I think. We had Nick on last week, and obviously Nick spoke about the expectation is second is a failure, right? Pretty much.
Well, for me, second is always a failure. There's no. It's a good result getting in a certain position, but we want to win the league. You know, that's our ambition. That's what we're going to get, and that's what we want to get. We'll be focused to get that. And so pretty much.
I mean, no pressure.
No pressure. Look, I don't feel the pressure of it. I just know that I have to do my job, and I try to transfer my ideas to the players, the principles of the game, and the way that I see football to my players, and then they show it on the Saturday what they can do. And you know, at the end of the day, what counts is 3 points. So that's all we're looking for.
So for you, I mean, what are some of your key principles? If we got someone to say this is what playing under Serge is like, talk us through that. You don't have to go into formations and stuff like that, but I mean, what are your kind of rough ideas about how should the game be played?
Well, look, for me, it has to be a mixture of things. You know, I won't go too much in depth because or else I'll be giving away.
Someone else will watch.
Someone's there scouting.
Tony, we'll see you next week.
they'll be saying, but so there's a mixture of things. You know, I like to be, especially in the defence line, I like it to be very schematic in the sense of I like things to be done quickly and without risk. And I like that the defence is pretty much solid.
Sure.
When it gets to the midfield, we're pretty much on the same wave. So for me, the midfield is the first filtering of the game, especially on possession. So you have to, let's say it's a first line of defence. So sometimes, especially on the defensive part, when we're defending, I like it to be very schematic and following a certain movements that in diagonal movements and stuff like that. But when it comes to the attacking third, I always like that there's a certain inventive from our players. You know, I like them to have the freedom to invent because that's
to show that quality.
Well, you know, everything can't be dictated by a coach. You have to let the player at a certain point have their mentality. They have to have their freedom to invent something. You know, that's having a player that knows how to dribble and break the lines is something that you cannot really prepare for. So you have to have that sort of freedom for the players in your attacking third. Let's say, not too much freedom in the sense of you don't want them to do stupid stuff, but my principles is trying to make them choose what is the proper option. You know, between the choosing what option should be the best. So that's what we do in training. You know, give them options in the training pitch. So you have to give the ball to the right, to the left, wide to give it on the left, or wide to give it to the right. To try to read the scenarios of the games and the plays. If there's certain ways where we can take advantage of our numbers or the opponent defence is closing us in a certain way, how to go around it and how to trick them. So it's all stuff that we're working on training. But as I said, when you have some player with a sort of fantasy and then comes up with something, there's nothing you can prepare for either.
Like Rashidi's first goal.
Well, exactly, like Rashidi's first. Well, Rashidi's first goal, or like Garba, when he takes off, or Joe on the wings, Lionel. Certain things that you cannot prepare for, and you have to let the players be players.
Because you can't really coach that into someone, can you?
No, you shouldn't be. You should leave the players have a certain freedom. You know, that's my mentality. I'm not saying that everyone should be following that, but that's how I see it. At a certain point of the pitch, places of the pitch, you should have certain freedom. The players should have a certain freedom to decide what they're doing. You know, instead of always being, you have to play it from the back 100%. You can't kick the ball out. Let's mix it up. You know, it's going to be predictable every time playing it from the back, or they'll work you out and they know how to close you down with a certain pressing, with a certain triggers that. So you have to be a little bit unpredictable.
Sure. Well, I mean, we touched on that first goal, but talk us through that game. I'm top of the table. It doesn't get bigger than that, does it? Like, that's a top of the table clash. 2 undefeated teams. You're playing them at home. Talk us through that last game.
Well, the last game we prepared it pretty well. I think I had a precise plan to push him in a certain situation that felt like that, and it happened. Even in the pre-talk, I was talking to my players that how to be calm and do not fall for little tricks and stuff like that, and mental games, and I believe their striker fell for that. You know, they went straight into an argument and trying to fight our players, and you get red carded. At the end of the day, your ego is not bigger than the team.
Sure.
So you have to know how to keep it under control, and the team comes before anything. So your ego, put it in your pocket for 90 minutes.
Yep.
You know, think about the team. Going down to 10 men can be an issue. Some teams go down to 10 men and play even better.
Yeah.
So
Which I mean, at least from what it kind of looked like, the first 10-15 minutes after that red card, it almost looked like the team was confused that, we have a man advantage, how do we use that?
Yeah, exactly. It does happen because all of a sudden it gives you a false sense of security that you're like winning the game. I've got a man up, I can do whatever I want. That's a bad habit that has to clear the heads of any player, because that's a trap. Playing with 10 players could be, for the players that are playing with 11, it could be a trap where, you can drop in mentality. And that shouldn't happen.
Sure.
And we nearly, let's say for 10 minutes, I would say 10 minutes, like you said, we had a bit of a
cagey time.
Yeah, saying, what's going on, instead of really pushing on him. But before those 10 minutes, before that red card, I believe we should have put away at least 2-3 chances.
Yeah.
They never passed the midfield for the first 15 minutes, and we were absolutely in control of the game. At the end, we had that little bit of a understanding what was going with 10 men, but we got that under control straight away. Well, let's say after 10 minutes we got it under control. We put away a goal, and in the second half it was pretty much the same. We absolutely controlled the game, and we should have maybe had another 3-4 chances to put away.
I think it's fair to say that was a generous 3-0 to them.
And let's say it's a generous 3-0, and people will say, because there were 10 men, doesn't matter. At the end of the day,
from the first 15 minutes, it looked like it was going to be about 6.
Look, it's. I'm not one that goes and looks for excuses. At the end of the day, there's bad decisions by referees or not. I'm not going to comment on that decision. We all got our opinion. You saw the game as well. For me, it was a red card. You don't react to a player, even if there was something on. I really didn't see what happened, but I just saw their striker going for our captain, for Santi, and saw him on the floor, and you should be
in front of the ref.
In front of the referee, and then at the end of the day, it's your decisions. Like I was saying, it coaches you. Your decision making makes the difference.
Yeah.
So they had a bad decision to lose their control, and goes down. They went down to 10 men. Just gave us a little bit of an advantage that we took off, but I reckon even if they had 11 on the pitch, it would have been the same.
Probably. I mean, I think that's fair to say, right? Those first 15-20 minutes before
absolutely. They had nothing to threaten us for those first 15 minutes before that red card. I don't know what precise minute he got red carded.
I bet he does.
Well, he does.
I bet he does.
Certainly they do, but I wasn't really paying attention at the time when they got red carded, but I was just focusing on my team, whatever the opponent does. It's their concern. My duty as a coach is to break down the tactics of my opponents. I've done a couple of switches, like moving Rashidi on one side and Joe on the other, and that brought us a goal straight away. The other one that I was playing Giovanni as a centre back because he's a player.
He scored later on. He scored. You can see that. I mean,
exactly.
What a performance for that.
Oh, Giovanni for me was one of the best on the field, and as a defender, then I put him as a striker, and he just.
You can see that joy light up in his face as soon as he got to do anything moving forward. You can see he's that type of player. I mean, but that just speaks to the quality of a player that can play in 2 positions.
Multiple positions. I always like players that can play in multiple positions. Always had that sort of. I've been attracted by them, but. But anyway, doing that move brought our third goal.
Sure, yeah.
And the game was closed. I think it was closed on the 2-0. Even Basho, he had a good game. He scored that goal. It was a bit weird. I thought the keeper was a bit out of his.
I think he was trying to play the pass or something.
Look, I don't know, but Basho just took advantage of it. At the end of the day, we have to put goals on. Whatever happens. I'm not there worried about how.
And he deserved it. I mean, based on that performance and his work rate every game, he deserves it.
He hit the crossbar in the first half. He would have deserved at least one goal in that first half, and Rashidi would have probably put away a couple as well. When he got in front of the goals, he just passed it at the keeper and just tapped it to him. So I was waiting for that,
that celebration. Yeah, it's always his celebrations. All right, this is a good question. Who has the best celebrations on the team?
Well, that's a funny one. Yeah, well, to be honest, The one that I liked the most was probably Ali's when he scored against.
The one he got booked.
He got booked.
He did get booked for that.
So that was funny for a double reason. But even if you can see our team, that tells you that we're a team that plays football because we don't only have one striker that's got 10 goals. Example.
Sure.
We got 7-8 players that all have 2-3 goals. So that shows you that the team is playing football and everyone's getting involved in the offensive front. So so finding who had the best celebration, I'll give it to Ali. At least
He's gonna love that.
He's gonna.
Ali, if you're watching, we agree.
And no pineapple on the pizza. Don't put pineapple on pizza.
Yeah, your next interview we'll do it fully in Italian.
Oh, maybe we can do it in Italian, it'll be fine.
Alright, so I guess the last thing we should touch on is moving forward. Obviously, we've got the break now. Next game's against Tani, which, with all due respect, you'd assume would probably be a little bit easier than this one. What are your predictions going into that game?
Well, looking at the letter, obviously it says that we're going to have an easy game, but I don't trust letters, I don't trust papers. What I trust is that we show up, we respect every team in the sense that I want total respect towards the games. There's no walks in the park with me, that I want them to play their best, always. You cannot give for granted things. You have to win it. You have to play games. You have to win them. You have to prove your strength every game because even if we won 4 games in a row, yes, it comes on the ladder in the sense of we got 12 points. But whatever you've done yesterday, it doesn't. You have to transfer it to tomorrow.
Sure.
So let's forget what we've done the last 4 games. They're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone now. We have to focus only on the next game that comes forward. So Tani, for me, the same respect that I had for Ballarat for Bendigo and for Maidstone and Wyndham, I got for Tani.
Sure.
For me, they're all finals.
Yeah.
And they're all teams to be beaten.
Respect it. Yep, sure. All right, well, you're a very busy man, so we won't keep you any longer. Thank you so much for coming.
No worries, anytime.
Thank you so much for coming on for us.
Thank you.
For our second episode.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next weekend. Have a great one. See ya.
Bye.